Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so excited you're joining us because today we're looking at a classic piece of text that gives us a literal step-by-step game plan for exactly what to do when a friend messes up. You know, we've all been there, right? A friend does something wrong and you're just standing there like, what do I do now? Well, this text totally has the answers. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's dive into this. Just think for a second. What do you usually do when a friend messes up? Honestly, do you get mad, maybe laugh at them, or do you just kind of walk away? Look, it is super common to feel frustrated, especially if their mistake directly affects you. But our text today tells us there's actually a right way and a wrong way to handle this whole situation. And actually, it all starts with figuring out exactly what kind of mistake we're dealing with.
Oops, or on purpose, checking the mistake.
So the source text makes this really important comparison. It clearly separates someone being, quote, led into sin unawares from someone who deliberately plans to do something wrong. Let's break that down. Being overtaken unawares is kind of like accidentally tripping over your own shoelaces because you just weren't watching your step. You definitely didn't mean to fall. That is way different from someone who deliberately plans a mistake, like looking at a giant mud puddle and deciding, yep, I'm jumping right in. The text points out that we have to recognize that difference. And this perfectly sets up our focus for today, because while those planned, on-purpose mistakes need a different, stronger kind of fix, our text gives us a very specific direction for the oops, the total accident. It tells us we need special direction to deal tenderly with those overtaken in a fault. Basically, if your friend was just overcome by a surprise temptation and messed up without meaning to, man, we have to treat them with super tender care.
Moving on to Section 2, Fixing a Broken Bone, Restoring the Erring.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the word restore. The text tells us we need to restore our friend, but if you look at the original ancient meaning of that word, it actually means to set in joint as a dislocated bone. Think about that. Imagine you fell off the monkey bars and a bone in your arm popped totally out of place. Ouch, right? Restoring a friend who messed up is just like a doctor putting that bone right back into its proper place. So the absolute most crucial point here is this. You cannot just slam a broken bone back together, right? If a doctor did that, it would hurt so much worse. You have to be incredibly careful. The text insists we absolutely must help our friend using kindly counsel and a spirit of meekness. And that really just means being unbelievably gentle and patient. The text even says there should be zero triumphing in a friend's fall. No bragging, no I told you so, and definitely no acting like you're better than them. You are just being a gentle doctor fixing a bone.
Section 3, Swimming Against the Current, A Weight of Waves.
Here, the text gives us this picture of a person trying to swim against a heavy stream, with a, quote, weight of waves driving them back. Have you ever tried to walk or swim through a wave pool when the water is just blasting against you? It is completely exhausting. Well, that is exactly how your friend feels. They're struggling. They feel super discouraged. They are fighting against this giant wave of a mistake, and they aren't acting out of meanness. They're just sinking. They need help.
Which brings us to Section 4, The Helping Hand, Elder Brother's Hand.
Listen to this really powerful quote from our source. Let a hand then be held out, as was the elder brother's hand to a sinking Peter. Now, this is talking about the famous story where Peter tries to walk on water, right? But he gets scared, he starts to sink, and Jesus immediately reaches out to grab him and pull him up. The text is telling us that when our friend is sinking in their mistake, we shouldn't just stand on the edge of the pool and yell at them. No way. We need to reach out and give them the strong clasp of a sympathizing hand. We pull them up exactly like Jesus did for Peter. So here is the ultimate action plan, straight from the text. Step 1, be gentle. Remember that spirit of meekness we talked about? Step 2, hold out a hand. Make absolutely sure your friend doesn't get discouraged and give them your support. And step 3, just lean in and whisper to them, let us pray.
And that takes us to Section 5, The Power of Prayer, Uniting Hearts.
Let's move to this and see how it builds, because the source text lists some incredible things that happen when you actually pray with a friend who's messed up. First off, it unites hearts. It brings you and your friend closer together. Second, it's a prayer to the great physician, the ultimate doctor, to literally heal their soul. And third, it brings Jesus right to your side, giving fresh grace and brand new strength to your fainting, confused friend so they can overcome their struggles. It actually turns aside the attacks of temptation. How amazing is that? So, here is my final question for you to think about as we wrap up this explainer. Who can you hold a hand out to today? Seriously, If you see a friend at school, at home, or out on the playground who gets overtaken by a mistake, remember this game plan. Don't brag, and definitely don't get mad. Be the gentle doctor. Be the strong hand pulling them out of the water. And be the friend who whispers, "Let us pray." You literally have the power to help restore them. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys, and I really hope you take this lesson with you wherever you go.